The Volkanovski Max Holloway rematch happened at UFC 251. Alexander Volkanovski walked away with the belt, but I think it's safe to say that Max Holloway walked away as the winner. Now that's an interesting thing to say, seeing as how he technically lost the fight. But what I mean by that is, in the eyes of, first of all, in the eyes of a lot of people who were there, he actually won the fight. A lot of people had it 3-2. I'm in that camp as well. I had Max winning the fight. Thought it was a bad display of judging, which unfortunately we've seen a lot of recently in MMA. It's plagued boxing for quite some time as well. But what I mean by that is in the eyes of all of the fans. Like, how does everybody view him? And he walks away as a huge winner for a few reasons. But the biggest one is his evolution as a martial artist. I mean, I love Max Holloway and what he brings to the table, how he shows up and how he treats the game. The man is absolutely a professional fighter. Now, I gotta be honest, in the whole build up to this fight, I thought he was trolling a little bit while he was talking about training over Zoom, never seen his coaches until he met them at the airport, ready to go and everything. No sparring, anything like that. I think he was trolling a little bit. He seems to have a good sense of humor. He puts out a decent amount of content on social media, so you can watch him, kind of catch him behind the scenes. He's like a lighthearted guy. He's always laughing. He's always joking. Seems to have a great personality. So I didn't take him too serious when he said that. And even if he was serious, even if that's exactly how it played out, more power to him. That just shows how well trained he is and how much of a natural fighter he is, because he came out there and looked great. He looked absolutely great. Okay? But it wasn't just that he looked great. He looked great before. I mean, a lot of people consider Jose Aldo the greatest featherweight of all time. And if I remember correctly, Max Holloway smoked him twice. We've seen him look great before. That's not really what's new here. What is new is specifically the way that he evolved for this fight. When you watch a lot of Max Holloway's fights, all of Max Holloway's fights, his style is 100% based off of his time. 100% it's based off of his time. And that's how come he appears at times to be a slow starter. He'll lose the first round, portions of the first round. It's because he needs to gauge the timing of his opponent. Once he gets that timing, it's like he cracked the code. Put the key in there. It's the master key. He's got the lock. It's over and done with. Right? Once Max Holloway gets a guy's timing, the odds that he's going to be able to come back and be successful, pretty slim. Usually it takes him a little bit to get going. Once he figures that out, he's solid. Everything's good to go. It's what he builds everything off of. His control in and out, his feints, the way he manages the gap, the types of punches he uses, the angles, the way he cuts in, the way he cuts out, all of those things. It's all based off of his timing, and he's a master of timing. Well, in that first Volkanovski fight, his timing was off. That's why he lost that fight. And the reason his timing was off wasn't because he had an off night. It was because Volkanovski was tearing his front leg up, right? He landed all of those leg kicks. And when you land all those leg kicks, it naturally throws off everything that Max is trying to do, because number one, the more kicks that land, the more explosiveness that he loses. So his ability to dart in and out quickly decreases. Number two, every time those kicks lands, it throws off his rhythm while he's fighting. If he was right in the middle of doing something, right about to execute something, whatever kind of movement that was, when that kick lands, even if it's not a very hard kick, just the fact that it landed throws everything off. So it completely disrupted his rhythm. Volkanovski comes in there, walks away with the fight. Okay, so the big question coming into this one, at least in my mind, was what was Max going to do to solve that problem? Because if he came in there and he didn't have an answer for those leg kicks, this was going to turn out exactly the same way. Volkanovski fought his fight the first time. So you had no reason to believe that he was going to come out and do anything different. He's always fought that way, and he came out there and fought that way to perfection in the first one. So really, as the man who lost that fight, it was on Holloway to come up with a different game plan that he thought was going to lead him to the promised land, to get him back that gold belt, put him back at number one, have his hand raised where he belongs. Again, I thought he did that. It's really rough when you go out there and you've got this plan and you train and you execute, and the judges come up with a different view of things. But his answer to that leg kick was awesome. He was like, I'm not going to sit here and check it. I'm not going to let this guy tee off on my leg while I continually try to check him, hopefully discouraging him to shoot any more shots. Max Holloway took the aggressive approach, and he said, every time he kicks me, I'm going to kick him. Every single time he kicks my leg, I'm going to kick his leg back. Sometimes I'm going to kick him twice. That's what's going to discourage Volkanovski from kicking my legs. The fact that every single time he does it, I tee right back off on his leg. And for portions of that fight, it looked like they were in a leg kicking contest, right? I mean, it was hilarious, but it was beautiful at the same time. And that completely changed how Volkanovski was able to use those leg kicks, and it completely changed the scoring. Now it wasn't just every time Volkanovski lands a leg kick, it's a scoring shot for him, and it disrupts Max, and he doesn't score anything, and it messes up what he was about to do. Instead, Max turns around and immediately answers with one of his own, letting everybody know, I'm right here, you're not getting one off on me. Beautiful answer for that. And then the second thing that he implemented that really stood out to me that I thought was gorgeous was that when he would take a step back, right uppercut, left hook. Volkanovski was controlling the distance, messing up his rhythm and his timing with the leg kicks, and he was closing the distance very effectively and landing shots in that first fight. Max had an answer for both of those things. He said, I'm kicking your leg back every single time you do it. And when you come towards me, I've got this beautiful little thing here. You're the shorter fighter? Great. I've got an uppercut for that. He stepped back with that little half step just to get out of range of whatever Volkanovski was coming forward with, the jab, the right hand, and he shot that right uppercut and that left hook, and he landed it beautifully. As a matter of fact, I only watched the fight the first time. I didn't watch it through yet. I will be. But I believe he dropped him with that left hook in the first round. I know he dropped him twice in the first and the second, both the rounds that Max clearly won. But I think it was actually the left hook and that right uppercut, left hook combination that took him off his feet in that first round. It was the perfect answer to the pressure that Volkanovski was trying to apply. All in all, I was really happy with Max's performance. It was a great thing to watch. He continues to evolve as a martial artist, and that's really the most that you can hope for. He's still a young guy. He shows how much he still has in the tank, that he's going to be able to compete. Not that anybody was talking about it and doubting that, but whenever you take a guy who's been as successful as Max Holloway has for as long as he has, and then all of a sudden he gets a loss, right away people start to wonder, how's he going to come back from that? Is he going to be able? Is this the beginning of his decline? I mean, he started when he was so young. Sometimes those guys, their careers end up early instead of fighting until they're 37, 38. They're out of there by the time they're like 33. So it's great to see just how much he's still willing to learn. He's not willing to rest on his laurels. He's not willing to just do good enough. He's been the king of the 145-pound division for a little while now. And with that performance that he had, he shows that he clearly wants to get back to the top again. It sucks that the judges saw it a different way, but I have no doubt in my mind that those two will be meeting again, or if somebody else ends up dethroning Volkanovski in the meantime, then Max will be first on the list to get a shot at again. Because even Dana White said it, and when Dana White thinks that you got cheated, thinks that the judges were a bad decision, he kind of rectifies that by giving you a really good next fight. So it'll be fascinating to see how that one turns out. Max was all class and defeat. I have no doubt that he will continue to train and show up with even more wrinkles in his game the next time. Let me know what you guys think. Where you think he'll be in his next fight. How did you think this performance played out as he continues to evolve, what he brings to the table, and what do you think is next for him?